COVID-19, Ukraine-Russia war, Sri Lanka crisis, inflation, recession, all these are examples of VUCA that we talk about, VUCA, right? And this is what we are going to talk today. Hi, I'm Deepak Singh, President and CEO of Gorosco Solutions. I'm also the member of the Global Committee for Risk and Crisis Management at DLC. Welcome to my DLC talk. Now, like I said, VUCA. And this is one of the reasons why we ventured into something called Gorosco Solutions as an organization. Because my career started about 1994. It's about 28 years that I have been into industry. And as part of that, when I was working with Honeywell, this was about 2003 to 2016, close to about 13 years with Honeywell. At that point of time, I started feeling that, business continuity, resilience, crisis management, this is something which is going to take big, right? And that's what we are seeing today. So that's when I decided in 2016 that, why don't I come out and then sort of start working on this so that I can help more organizations in being resilient. And that was the reason in 2016, once I left Honeywell, I started Gorosco Solutions on 30th of April 2016 to be very precise. So as I said, the organization, Gorosco Solutions, we actually try to embed resilience into the other organizations as part of the services that we provide. We are into business continuity management, resilience building, IT disaster recovery, crisis management. We are into emergency response and multiple other services. Now today, why we are talking about this topic, right? As I said, whatever we are seeing today, right? It started right in 2020 when we had this COVID hitting the whole world. And something that people never expected, that there could be a situation that people cannot come out of their homes. They cannot even go and talk to anyone, even their neighbors. That was something that was not expected at any point of time. What exactly is VUCA? Right? VUCA is made of these four words: volatile, uncertain, then we talk about the complexity, and then finally the ambiguity. Right? So when we talk about these four words, each of these words, they have their own importance. When we say volatile, we do not know what is going to happen. We are not very sure. Things are unpredictable. But when we talk about the future, has anyone seen the future? I don't think so. Right? We can expect something to happen, but it's not necessarily going to happen. That is what is risk, because we never know whether it is going to impact you positively, negatively. Your expectations could be different. Now we talk about VUCA. We know that it's going to impact us. But then what do? We are not going to sit quiet and then do nothing about it, right? Now there is something called VUCA analysis. People who have worked on the management systems, they understand that there's something called understanding the organization. As part of organization as well, I'm talking about Gorosco, we have actually started considering VUCA as part of that analysis, because when we talk about an organization, any corporate in the world, right, we start seeing what are those VUC and A's which is going to impact that organization. And that's important because that's when you try to understand the internal and external dynamics of the company or the organization, right? And hence it is important. So perform the VUCA analysis, and then what do we do after that? We have to take some action. What is that? Now there is a gentleman called Bob Johansson. He has written very beautifully, how do you handle VUCA? So he says, the VUCA threats can be handled by VUCA Prime. What is VUCA Prime actually? VUCA threats we have talked about, right? Volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. Now what is VUCA Prime? There the V is, so he says that the volatility you try to handle through vision, right? So try to keep a vision very clear about what is that you are going to focus on. What is that you should target? What should be your objective? So handle the volatility with vision, the uncertainty with understanding. Then we have complex. If it is complex, try to make it simple. Get the clarity. right? So when you have the other C for C, complex, handle with clarity. Try to get into the details. Then we have the last one, which is ambiguous. Ambiguity you can handle through agility. Now, having said that, what should we do now? So once we understand that these are the strategic, approaches through which you can handle VUCA situation, that's what you need to embed in your organization. So as CEOs, CXOs, and then, board of directors, all the people who are in the top management position, I think it's our responsibility to ensure that we, as part of that leadership decision-making body, we need to focus on these things. Our organization, Gorosco Solutions, we started in 2016, so close to 6+ years. Now, these 2 years, 2020, 2021, and then, we are into 2022, when we had this COVID situation, right? We didn't have any major impact. Last 2 years, almost all of our employees are working remotely from their home. We ourselves are brand ambassadors of, embedding resilience into the organization. And hence, we have to be strong enough to ensure that any such types of uncertainties or, risks should not stop our operations. And that's what we did. I remember one of our clients, he was saying that the day the war started, there 1,100 people from Russia, one of the city in Russia, they actually suddenly were, not reachable. People couldn't get any way reaching out to them, not even on the WhatsApp, not on the mobile phones, nothing. And that is what is to be taken care. When we talk about risk, when we talk about crisis, you're talking about a situation that is beyond operational level of control. That's where the top leadership has to pitch in. That is what is crisis management. Because then you and your organization are at the verge of ensuring or, getting into an issue which could be a brand and image reputation issues, or it could be into operational issues. I mean, when I say operations, I'm not talking about the next level. Crisis management is still at the strategic level. That means topmost level of the organization. But I'm talking about your organization might cease to exist if you are not taking care of these things. That is what is crisis management. That's why even at DLC, we have multiple committees. And the Risk and Crisis Management Committee, the focus is how we can help the organizations and sort of, all the business folks or entrepreneurs to guide them, or then sort of, give them our understanding of the experience that we have had in so many years across the industries. How do we help them? How do we enable them? And that's one of the main focus of DLC. Now, talking about the risk portfolio or the risk world has changed totally in last 3 to 4 years. Now, today, because of COVID, as you have hybrid work culture, work from home and all, something that was not expected to be done from home, that means that you didn't have any risk of ensuring that there is a security breach because you are working in a more connected network. A connected network means I'm talking about network which is connected to the corporate network, very secure. But at home, you do not have that. So what is the risk now? You have risk related to cyber security. You have risk related to the information security, right? Apart from that, we have heard a lot in last 2 to 3 years about the mental health. People have actually been stressed a lot. So what do we do that? Now we see that, there are different type of risks that are emerging, and this is going to continue, by the way. It's not that, next 1 year, everything will be sort of getting down and then we are more comfortable. No. COVID may be down, but there could be some other risk because the world is becoming more and more dynamic. Now, what is the responsibility for us? For us, for you, it's more important that we are prepared. Can we control everything? No, we cannot control everything. Right? Some of the things with some proactive approach, with some risk management techniques and all, yes, we can, of course, control some part of the thing. But if you are a risk management guy, you will understand. You can reduce the risk. You cannot make the risk zero. And that is important for us to understand. Right? So, one risk goes down, there could be some other risks which are popping up. So, risk will be there. But then what is important is how do we handle the risk so that it doesn't become a crisis to the organization, to the world, to the economy as such. Now, today, risks like cybersecurity, information security, business continuity, operation disruptions, and all these are factors. Unfortunately, something that organizations were not taking that seriously, and yes, I'm telling that from my experience, because this was the case. A couple of years back, if you talk about the business continuity or resilience, people were not that interested. It looked like, we are talking about something that you have to pay additional amount as an overhead and all those things, but that's not the case today. Organizations, people, even smaller organizations have understood what is the importance of business continuity. What are the different risks that could disrupt their operations? What are the things that could become a crisis if you do not control this risk in time? If you do not handle the disruptions properly, then you might get into a crisis management situation. Don't go there. You'll have to stop right before that. As part of the top management, whether you are CEO or CXO or part of the board of directors, it's very important for us to take care of this, right? We cannot leave everything to the operational level people. We have to focus on that. We have to give directions. We have to ensure that the training, the cross training that is supposed to be done, make your people agile, make your organization agile. Anyone should be able to at least understand and perform something else from any other department or a sister concern if required. Ensure that the thought process is more sort of innovative. The culture is more innovative. Small ideas, you will not believe, small ideas can actually trigger a huge problem solution. That means you have been handling a problem, but then there could be a small change or a small idea that could actually lead it to a complete closure. That means you won't have that problem again in future. If we as leaders, if we are not focusing on that, that means we are responsible. We could even fail our employees. We are failing our organization. We are going to fail not just these people, but also our society and the whole environment. The whole ecosystem would be disturbed. And we saw a glimpse of that when we had this COVID situation. How many people who are dependent on our organization, they lost the job. They had to migrate back from one city to another city. That's all because we as business guys or our organizations, we couldn't control that disruption. We couldn't recover those operations well in time. We couldn't create much impact there. But fortunately or unfortunately, we are at a stage where I know that, all of us have experienced this and we are going to be much more proactive in future, right? So let's take care of that. You and me, we need to make the first step, because if we make that first step, I'm sure that we will be unstoppable. With that, let me end here. I would like to thank DLC for giving this platform for me to sort of express my thoughts. Thank you all for your time. I hope that this session was insightful. And yes, do connect with us for any further information that you'd like to have. And all the best. Take care.